Hey, do you remember what fun is, right? Rhetorical question. Anyway, I hate to be the martyr here and say the obvious, what's on everyone's minds, but I think Call of Duty has been holding back the Zombies game mode for far too long, and Zombies deserves to be its own standalone game at this point. Yeah, I'm going there. And I wouldn't be surprised if you secretly agreed with me on that, because Zombies has been a staple of Call of Duty for a really long time, but it's been really dry for a long time now. I mean, if you've been here since the beginning, if you've been an OG since 2008, my OA buddies, alright. Let's be serious here, but the atmosphere of Zombies has obviously just evaporated since then. Like, there's just no aura to the new Zombies. And I think it's not just nostalgia that's talking here. A lot of people, especially the newer fans, like to just say that, like, all us old heads are just nostalgic for the good old days. And I think partially that's true, but I mean, it's true for a reason. We liked the older games because they were fun. And I don't know if the new Call of Duty fans even know what fun is, other than what slop is given to them by Activision these days. Listen, you can compare the graphics all the live long day, but that doesn't compare to the atmosphere that Black Ops 1 and World at War Zombies had. Even Black Ops 2 still had the sauce. But all of that's missing in the modern Call of Duty era. Let's remember how Zombies even started. It was a basic side mode that you unlocked after beating the World at War campaign. It became a fan favorite long since then. But, you know, it's been slowly been put to the side again. Like, they've been treating it like it's a side mode again, not like it's a mode equal to both multiplayer and campaign. In fact, I'd argue that the only mode they actually care about anymore is Warzone, because everything seems to be built around Warzone. Even the new Zombies modes just reuse mechanics from Warzone. So there you go. That's where their priority is right now, and it's where it's been probably since 2019. Who would have thunk it? Battle Royale and, Fortnite, if you want to go there, did a lot of irreparable damage to the gaming sphere, or whatever you want to call it. But, obviously it did a lot more damage to Call of Duty specifically, because they saw that as an opportunity to just do the Call of Duty thing and just copy someone else's watermark. Woohoo! But I guess it worked out for them in the end, because now they got another mode that's probably arguably even more popular than Zombies. Which, I guess is a good thing for the Warzone players, but it also means that Zombies players often get left in the dark, and their game mode often doesn't get as prioritized as much as the other modes. And let's face it, the aura that the old Zombies games used to have just isn't there. And they can make the new games as dark and as spooky as they think they might be, but at the end of the day, they just don't know how to do that anymore. Like, I don't even think, like, the same people that worked on the old Call of Duties that we all know and love still work there anymore. It's probably all completely new people. I have no idea, I have no evidence to back this up, but I mean, I think the evidence is clear just based on the games that we're getting now. It's obviously not the same people from World at War, or Black Ops 1, or Black Ops 2, etc. You get the point. But I honestly feel like there is still a lot of passion that they try to put into the Zombies mode regardless, and you can see it even with Black Ops 7, which is probably, at this point, arguably the worst Call of Duty game. And yet it still has a somewhat decent and loyal player base for Zombies mode. And even I can see gameplay of it and be like, it's weird that, like, the Zombies looks more fun than the campaign. And I think that's where, it hits the nail on the head, basically. And it gets back to the point where I was getting at, where I say Zombies just needs to be its own game mode. And Activision is really missing out on just not making a Zombies game. They don't have to make a new Call of Duty every year. They could spice it up and sprinkle in a Zombies game instead. And that'll make Zombies fans, really happy. And I know that might seem like it's really contradictory and like, oh, now you're leaving out Warzone and, multiplayer fans. But let's be honest, every Call of Duty game is pretty much the same with very little differences. In fact, Black Ops 7 is just Black Ops 6 with a new coat of paint. But obviously now you can bounce off walls because, couldn't just give us jetpacks. You had to innovate even more on more pointless things that no one asked for. Sorry, that seemed a bit harsh, but obviously the players want innovation, we want new ideas, we want new things in the new games we buy, so it justifies us buying a whole new game for it. But taking out Omni movement and then just adding in another version of Omni movement that lets you bounce off the walls is just, I don't know. It's a weird choice. It's a choice that they always end up making, is taking out content from previous games and adding in a new feature, only to take that feature out in the next game and bring back a feature that they previously removed, and etc. And they always market these things as the new thing that's going to change Call of Duty and impact Call of Duty, and it's always the same thing every year. You get the point. It's the same shtick. So I think if you want zombies that really change and really be impactful, and really, be seen in the eyes of just gamers everywhere, not just Call of Duty heads, I think if you're a Zombies fan, you should demand and kind of want a Zombies game for yourself that's not tied and held behind by some Call of Duty nonsense. And you have to admit, it's pretty weird, even with like Black Ops 3 Zombies, how like when you play the Zombies mode for that, you're stuck with like the campaign multiplayer weapons from like the futuristic setting that those games take place in, but it just doesn't fit with the zombies aesthetic. I mean, I guess with Black Ops 3 it kind of does in a way, because that storyline for the zombies is equally as confusing as, the rest of Black Ops 3. Like, Zombies fans at this point probably only just want a Zombies Chronicles 2 for Black Ops 7, but if you want that, that's honestly kind of lame. And you should be demanding more from them. For zombies, there was generally a point in time where you could turn to where Activision saw zombies equally as marketable as the multiplayer mode. That's not the case anymore, so sorry Zombies fans, Warzone took over. That's basically why so much of the zombies gameplay in the new game kind of just resembles Warzone gameplay. Maybe with zombies in it. That's pretty cool, I guess. Like, you still have the perks and stuff from the OG games, but then you also have stuff that's just like armor packs and stuff. And that's clearly Warzone. Like, I don't know. Like, the current zombies fans are basically like just as bad as the multiplayer fans, because you just basically accept the same thing you get each time and just act like it's a new thing. Man, it sucks to be trapped in that cycle, doesn't it? And like, I get as a Zombies fan, you're willing to get anything because content is so dry, but it's kind of just sad to see him. I don't know, like, there's no aura, there's no charm. None of the new storylines or characters are really that interesting or memorable. And if anyone can give me like an instance of like a memorable thing from the new Zombies storyline, I'd really like to know, because like, I haven't seen any memes or any discussion of those things at all. Like, one of the biggest memes from the old Call of Duty, like, generation, if you want to call it that, was like the ray gun memes of like, oh, you gotta come get me because I got the ray gun. That stuff. There's not really even any like cultural relevance with the new Zombies or even the new Call of Duty games, other than just to kind of point out how far they've fallen, things like that, same old, same old. I don't know when Call of Duty fans are going to realize that, like, getting more quantity of games every year is the reason why they are so bad every year. Like, it was a lot better when they were only making, like, 2 or 3 games a year, and it was, like, just one studio working on it, because they had enough time, and it was one studio working on a clear vision from zombies to multiplayer and campaign and everything in between. It just all worked out and made sense, and I don't know why they decided to change the whole development cycle system behind Call of Duty when they rebooted the franchise, but that's, it's one of the reasons why zombies has just been so bad and neglected. And I feel like they cared a little bit more about Warzone than zombies, because a lot of stuff in zombies is just stuff that's they used for Warzone, and it wasn't in zombies originally, so yeah, there you go. Even stuff as little as like the windows, them taking those out, like I know that's a small thing, but that's kind of adding to like the lack of atmosphere in the new maps, because the whole window mechanic is building off of the psychology of fear of like, oh, needing to survive, and that survival aspect from zombies has just been completely thrown out the window, pun intended, with the new games, because they just don't even care about making a good environment anymore. I mean, Liberty Falls, I know they changed it or whatever, but like, I think a lot of people, when they just saw what that map looked like when they announced it, it looked like just like a multiplayer map. Like, it could have been just a cut multiplayer map that they repurposed into some sort of zombies map. The amount of assets and stuff that gets reused between modes, especially from Warzone, I mean, it's not like a conspiracy theory take to kind of say that, like, some of the stuff from zombies might just be from Warzone or multiplayer, especially like with Liberty Falls, because that map just looks so much like it could have been like a prototype multiplayer map. Like, all they really did to it was add like a few blood decals and windows that don't actually function. So I mean, they did like the most bare minimum on that map compared to like every other map in Black Ops 6 Zombies. And yeah, I know they did it kind of in a way to try to market that map as like a starting map for new players, but like, does it just not look like a multiplayer map? I mean, they had to like patch in the map later on just to make it look more like a zombies map. I don't think anyone actually fully grasped how insane that is to say, because they never actually had to do that with another zombies map, just completely change up large parts of the map to make it fit the mode. Like, that's never been something they've had to do before, and I think it just shows that they have like no creative vision at all when it comes to zombies, and that's something you should be worried about if you're a zombies fan. And I think it's a telltale sign that like Activision still doesn't know what they're doing with the zombies portion of Call of Duty, and maybe it'd be better off if it just wasn't Call of Duty, Like, in a perfect world, you guys wouldn't even be asking for Zombies Chronicles 2. I think that ship sailed a long time ago. Especially because they, like, immediately after the first Zombies Chronicles, they already tainted the franchise and the Zombies storyline immediately afterwards with Black Ops 4 by making the most pointless and annoying changes to the game. And also just having like two storylines that like they don't connect, but they're just both zombies. It's like, I don't know, there's so many things that like time and time again it's like, it's just kind of gotten better, but it's like 2 steps forward, 10 steps backwards, There's barely any progress that's actually happening, and like people just want to keep acting like it's this big thing. Oh, zombies is back. Nuketown is back. We've never left. What do you mean? Like, something has to leave to come back. That's, like, what do you... Nothing has changed. I think I just really miss like the gameplay aspect of the original Call of Duty, like zombies modes, more so than I do the actual like narrative or Easter egg parts of it. And I think that's where like a lot of OG zombies fans can kind of like resonate with, because a lot of us did just have a lot of fun, running around training zombies, trying to get the mystery box and all the wonder weapons on each map. Like, sure, some of us might have looked up Easter eggs, but, like, for someone like me, I wasn't actually gonna do them because I was watching someone else do them, and a lot of the Easter eggs, if we're being frank here, are just a little bit too complicated to do on your own, and a lot of them, they allow you, they only let you do it if you have like a full set of players. So already off the bat, there's just a ton of Easter eggs from a lot of the Call of Duty maps that just you can't do if you're playing by yourself. I think we all forget how zombies actually started and why people got into the mode in the first place, and it wasn't really the Easter eggs, because for the longest time, the first couple of maps didn't really have that much to offer in terms of Easter eggs. In fact, the narrative basically was non-existent in World at War. A lot of the appeal for fans was just the awesome new mechanics like the perk machines or the mystery box or the monkey bomb. Remember when they exclusively added new features to zombies back when they saw it as an equal mode to multiplayer and even Warzone? That's crazy. And sure, they're doing that with Black Ops 7, but like how many games did it take them to get to this point? And are they going to stick with it the next time they do zombies in the next game? Because I'm pretty sure, Modern Warfare 4 doesn't have zombies in it unless I'm wrong. And they're just doing the Treyarch thing of having zombies in their games too. I don't know who actually wants a Modern Warfare 4 zombies mode. I think Treyarch zombies fans like the Treyarch zombies. They don't really care about Infinity Ward or any other zombies mode, if I'm being honest. I don't know why Activision always puts separate developing teams on zombies modes when everyone's only ever cared about the storylines from Treyarch zombies modes. Like, if we're being honest here, there might have been 5% of people that maybe Zombies in Spaceland or the Vanguard storyline or whatever else. The World War II zombies, there you go, throw that in. Did anyone actually like those over the Black Ops zombies storylines? I don't think so. I find it pretty ironic that Fortnite basically took over the gaming industry, and even Call of Duty got obsessed about it and made their own take on the Battle Royale genre. But by doing that, they basically neglected, zombies and basically threw Warzone assets at it like it's nothing, because I think that's basically how they view the zombies mode now. They just view it as this nothing burger of a mode that, honestly, maybe they probably regret even ever spending time on it now. We like to think that they have the player's best interests in mind, but do they actually? They spend a lot of time hyping and talking up Warzone of all things, and all these little side modes for, multiplayer, or even the mundane, mediocre campaign that is Black Ops 7. Even that's more of a selling point than Black Ops 7's, zombies mode, which I heard was really good, or is at least attempting to take a turn in the right direction. But I think it's not enough to do that in a Call of Duty game. I think they need to expand the zombie storylines or the zombies gameplay beyond just Call of Duty. I think that's my take on it. I think Call of Duty is what's holding all of this back. The questions that, a lot of people are afraid to ask, but you think, you should. It's the future of Call of Duty and zombies is at stake here. And I don't know. The mistreatment of zombies just doesn't sit right with me. They've tried to course correct over the years and make the right decisions, but it's there's so many more instances of them just not listening and doing the opposite of what fans want. More so than times where they do listen to the fans. And I don't think that's me being a hater. I'm a genuine Call of Duty and even a die-hard zombies fan. But, I can see the writing on the walls at this point, and, they're not putting that much effort and that much passion and creativity into the zombies mode as much as they probably should be doing, because, it's a big mode, and it was a big mode, and it could still be if they, realize that it is, and zombies fans are just so stuck up on these little Easter eggs, and, oh, that's cool, and that's cool. But you gotta realize that, most people who got into the OG zombies things, like me, World at War didn't even have Easter eggs. We were just in a little bunker, fighting for our lives, trying to get a good weapon from the mystery box. We all came from humble beginnings here. You know, it's fun to have Easter eggs and storylines and stuff, but I think, you know, to me what matters more than all of that, even more than graphics, you know, is the gameplay, you know, the gameplay loop. You know, what makes you come back and stick around, and what makes you, like, what makes your brain itch enough to say, hey, you know, I'm willing to come back to this thing again and again and again and again, and it doesn't even need to ask me to do it, because I am just having that good of a time. Remember when games were designed to be fun and designed to be replayable, right? Even zombies, the old school zombies modes. You know, you want to do it over and over again to get the new highest round. I don't even get that same feeling in the new zombies modes. It's way too easy and way too in your face, and it's just, even the atmosphere of zombies takes you out of the immersion of it. There's just nothing there for zombies fans to chew on. Unless you're strictly someone who's, like, obsessed with the Easter eggs. And like I said, if I'm being honest, I think there's a very small but loud not majority, but minority of people that actually care about those Easter eggs. And obviously, you know, if you didn't have the tutorials to, like, tell us how to do them, you know, I guarantee, like, 80% of people just would not do them. Like, are we actually gonna sit here and have this debate that, like, Black Ops 7 has the best zombies mode of all the Call of Duty games? Like, that just sounds like a joke, like a bad joke, and not a good, funny joke. Like, you guys should be demanding for better games and just having higher standards overall. Like, that's just pretty disappointing.